When I first met Daniel, he was charming, the kind of man who could make a room light up just by walking in. He was successful, confident, and funny. And for someone like me who had spent years struggling to make ends meet, he seemed like a dream. But dreams sometimes turn into lessons, painful ones. It started with small things. He'd make decisions for me: what to wear, where to go, even which friends I should stop talking to. At first, I thought it was care, protection. But slowly that protection became control. And then came the money. He said, "You don't need to work. I'll take care of everything." And I believed him. Months passed. I left my job. I relied on him completely. He handled all the bills, all the accounts. And that's when the cage quietly closed around me. Every purchase I made had to be approved. If I bought something small, even a book, he'd ask, "Why do you need that?" He tracked every dollar. Until one day he looked me in the eyes and said, "You'll never touch my money again." He said it after an argument, over groceries of all things. But it wasn't about groceries. It was about control. He wanted me small, quiet, dependent. So I decided to leave. But leaving wasn't simple. He had the house, the car, the accounts, everything in his name. And when I finally found the courage to walk away, he made sure I had nothing. He froze the joint account. He told everyone I was unstable. And when I tried to take legal action, he laughed. "You really think a judge will take your side? You've got no proof, no money, and no voice." But he was wrong about one thing. I still had a voice. So I wrote a letter. Not to him, but to the court. A long, honest letter explaining everything. Every manipulation, every cruel word, every receipt I had hidden away. I poured my heart into it. I wasn't angry. I was just done being silent. Weeks later, we stood in court. He looked smug, like he had already won. His lawyer talked for almost half an hour, calling me dramatic and unreliable. And then the judge turned to me. She asked if I had anything to say. I handed her my letter. She began to read. At first, the courtroom was silent, but then something unexpected happened. The judge smiled. And then she laughed, not mockingly, but in disbelief. She looked up at Daniel and said, "Sir, according to this letter, you demanded itemized receipts for a loaf of bread and accused her of stealing toothpaste?" The entire courtroom broke into quiet laughter. Daniel's face turned red. He muttered something under his breath, but it was too late. The judge kept reading, out loud, all the ridiculous demands, the petty rules, the cruel comments. Each word was like sunlight in a room that had been dark for years. When she finished, she looked straight at him and said, "This isn't a partnership. This is financial imprisonment." And for the first time, he had nothing to say. The court ruled in my favor. I received back pay for the work I'd contributed to his business, plus my share of the property. It wasn't about the money. It was about being seen. When we left the courtroom, Daniel walked past me without a word. But I didn't need one. Because for once, silence was mine. I remember walking outside that day. The sun was warm. The air felt different. Lighter. I bought myself a cup of coffee with my own card. It was such a small thing, but it felt like freedom. And if you're listening to this, maybe you've been where I was. Maybe someone made you feel like you had no control. But trust me, you do. Your story, your truth, your courage, they're worth more than anyone's money. Because sometimes the most powerful letter isn't written for revenge. It's written for peace. If you like this story, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more real-life stories that touch the heart.